This is our homily for Sunday, June 16th, the 11th Sunday of Ordinary Time. The preacher's 5-year-old daughter noticed that her father always paused and bowed his head for a moment before starting his sermon. One day she asked him why. "Well, honey," he began, proud that his daughter was so observant, "I'm asking the Lord to help me preach a good sermon." After a brief pause, the girl asked, "How come he doesn't answer you?" That's why I think it's good as a Catholic priest I don't have any children. The preacher was on to something. We do our best to be good instruments in bringing about the kingdom, but ultimately that's all we are, instruments. God brings about the kingdom in his own time and at his own pace. Part of that challenge is that as human beings, we have the tendency to think big things are better than small things. How much advertising emphasizes bigger is better? How much space do we really need in a house? Our readings today give us a good example of the bigger is better attitude. In the first reading, Ezekiel presents God as saying he will take a shoot from a cedar, the largest and most magnificent tree that his readers would have experienced, and that will become the great kingdom of Israel, a great nation. Sort of make Israel great again. Jesus, on the other hand, presents the kingdom of God using the image of a mustard seed, a minuscule seed that produces a bush. Yes, a big bush, but still a bush and not a towering cedar tree. Our way, a cedar tree, or maybe a sequoia. Jesus' way, a mustard seed. The point is this. The kingdom of God is a result of a divine act, not our work. Yes, we have to cooperate. We have to plant the seed. But it is God's work ultimately. The growth is slow, mysterious, guided by the Spirit. But the growth is happening, and the kingdom will come to its fullness. And just how do we cooperate? By living a gospel life every day, being kind and generous to others, thinking of others and not just ourselves, being willing to show our belief in God in public, for example, by praying before we eat in a restaurant. So often it is small acts that can suddenly explode and make a big difference in the world or in someone's life. For example, Rosa Parks, a simple unknown black woman who by her small act of defiance, refusing to move to the back of a city bus, made a spark that ignited a huge movement, resulting in equality, at least in the law, for a vast number of people. The Reader's Digest had a monthly feature called The Perfect Assist. Do any of you remember it? The Perfect Assist presented stories of how people's lives were changed by one small act that someone else did, often without that person even knowing that their action was having such an effect on someone. That is the building up of the kingdom. We do our best to have a relationship with the Lord, to live gospel values, to share the joy and peace our faith brings us when appropriate, and then let God take over. We never know, nor do we need to know, how our seeds are being watered or nurtured or grown. One more point about the mustard seed. It can lay dormant for hundreds of years and then germinate. We never know how long it will take for a good action to produce fruit. It's God's work. So the reflection I invite us to, am I living a life that plants positive seeds for God to nurture and grow? Am I consciously trying my best to live gospel values of kindness, compassion, generosity, and forgiveness? What is one specific area in which I can grow? I end with a quotation from the Talmud, the book of Jewish law, which captures the point I am making perfectly. And it says, "Do not be daunted by the enormity of the world's grief. Walk humbly now. Do justly now. Love mercy now. You are not expected to complete the work, but neither are you free to abandon it." End quote. As we struggle to live lives of disciples, let us support each other in prayer. God bless.